Real Talk Sports. Woo! Woo! We are at pod number 10. Oh, yeah. Don't hurt yourself. Easy. Leave the heavy lifting to me.
Yeah.
We are here, baby. The team is intact, I hope. I hope we haven't lost Lou already. I hope we don't have to put him on IR,
He's getting there.
He's getting there. It's all good. We'll get him on IR before the show's over with. But like I said before I get off task, Real Talk Sports Pod 10.
Yes.
As I like to preface, this show is about all sports, but it will be heavily dominated by the NFL.
Dun 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 dun.
Football.
Dun dun dun
People know
dun.
up front.
Dun dun dun.
If you want to hear about Rory McIlroy and Tiger's feud, you're not going to hear much.
Dun dun dun.
If you want to hear me tell you that Tiger's intimidated by Rory, you're not going to hear much.
Dun dun dun
When
dun
you hear
dun.
about Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, it's probably not the program for you.
Nah, it's not. You're not going to get much.
Dun dun.
You're not getting much from them already, so we need to move on.
Dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
I love it. And with that intro, to my right, ladies and gentlemen, the man with a pocket full of money and a new job.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, now able to take you and make your wildest dreams come true. Vicente Fernandez.
Woo! Hey man, Real Talk Sports, man. We come and give you the information, and if I like what you're talking about, I'll probably hear you out. But keep it moving.
And next up, the great big, the Popeye, the man sitting at the end of the bench with motherfucking play sheets and calls from 20 years ago. He got Madden's playbook. Ladies and gentlemen, Luis Fernandez.
Real Talk Sports. You come strong, you'll never be wrong.
I love it. See, I can always depend on Lou. To come with that shit. So we're going to dig right into it. We're not going to waste no time. I'm going to start out with last night's game, if that's okay with you fellas. Last night, NFL Thursday Night Football. The New York Football Giants.
Well, before we get into that, Thursday Night Football, do y'all think this is a weird concept? Do y'all think that this is good for the players? Because I feel that you have these guys coming off such a short week, man.
Yeah.
Short week sucks.
How do you expect to get the best football?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't like it.
Yeah, short week sucks. It's only good for the fans for the fact that you don't have to squeeze all the games in on one day. That's the only advantage because, so it's only game on. Versus, on Sunday, you got to pick and choose which games you want to watch.
Now that you have, let me stop. We don't got that sponsorship yet.
But I mean, even so, you still got to flip the channel.
Yeah.
Versus Thursday Night Football, you just got one game to focus on. So I think, if anything, that will be the only benefit. It's just that one game to focus on. But yeah, it hurts the players, definitely. Because, you heard from even the scouting reports, they're like, if we'd have played this game on Sunday, we'd probably had 3 or 4 of our starters.
You know what I'm saying? You had the game with the Giants and the Panthers on Thursday. You had a Giants team that had 2 huge injuries.
Yeah,
one was Akeem Nicks. He was out. He had I think he had a foot injury.
Yeah, foot injury.
He had a foot injury, and you had Ahmad Bradshaw with that neck injury.
Yep.
If it was a Sunday game, man, we probably would have had those 2 in.
Both of them, absolutely.
And the game being the way it was, it could have probably had a bigger blowout.
Yeah, probably don't want that. It probably worked to Carolina, but for those who don't know, the final score in the game was 36-7. Drubbing. The Carolina Panthers definitely didn't go home with a smile.
No, it was 20-7 at the half, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh man.
It was worse than the score.
Yeah, absolutely. Cam threw 3 picks. He didn't look comfortable at all. He looked flustered.
That Giants D-line finally, I think, showed up. Those first 2 games, they were, iffy. They were there, they weren't there. Against Tampa Bay, they were kind of there. They didn't really show Josh Freeman a lot of rush. Against the Cowboys, they were totally non-existent. But today, Cam Newton felt Umbenura's, the JPPs, the Justin Tucks of the world.
Now, see, I have a different concept of that defensive line. I think it's not that they haven't been showing up. I think it's so much that's expected of them. If you think about it, that defensive line is expected to carry that defense.
Right.
Well, now they have to. You have injuries.
They've always had to.
Well, injuries look at the injuries in the secondary that the Giants have to deal with.
They haven't had a full defense since Antonio Pierce played. Seriously. The Giants have had, they're very good at getting strong parts, and those parts are able to disguise the rest of the weaknesses, like a Peyton Manning, So, shout out to Eli. I'm what you would call a silent Giants fan. Like, regardless of whatever happens in the season, I always have faith in them because of what they showed me from that first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The way the Giants turn it on in the playoffs, no other team in the NFL can compare. No other team. The way they turn it on.
Yeah.
When the Giants turn it on, when they won the first Super Bowl and when they won the second Super Bowl, I call it. Like,
they play big on the big stage.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's Eli. That's Eli.
Absolutely.
Eli plays big in the big game.
Quiet leader.
Yes. They do as their leader does. You know.
I got an argument with somebody about the other day about Peyton and Eli, and I told them, I said, I'd draft Eli. And they were like, what? You wouldn't draft Peyton Manning, the greatest quarterback, the greatest regular season? And I'm like, Peyton is great. I said, but look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
Eli gets hot when it matters,
Exactly.
and that's all that matters.
Exactly.
I'll say this about the Eli Manning Peyton Manning debate, if there is a debate.
Right.
Peyton Manning Eli Manning has had a far better team than Peyton Manning could even dream of. I don't care what you have to say. All right, the defense that the Giants have had, the offensive weapons that the Giants have had.
But yes, but look at
the.
You know what balances it out? Look at the division that the Giants are in, as opposed to the Colts. There's a situation where it all balances out in the end.
But let's talk. Oh, okay.
But look at the personnel too. I'm sorry. Before we move on, look at the personnel of the Colts. Look at how the Colts draft and how they put their team together. They put their team together offensive minded. The Colts didn't give a shit about their defense. They had Bob Sanders, Dwight Freeney, and Robert Mathis.
Well, for a team that wanted to push offense, they did a pretty shitty job at picking running backs. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, well, they had a die. They had Marshall Faulk at the end of his career.
Donald Brown.
They had Donald Brown. They had my boy Mike Hart. Yeah, you know.
That should say.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I think it has a lot to do with personnel and strategy.
But I think that's one thing that Eli Manning has always had. I mean, especially in this game, you saw how no matter who you put in that backfield, they can make the ball move, especially with that offensive line. Andre Brown, a no-name, coming out of North Carolina State. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was running like a monster. He played a wonderful game. He had about 100 some odd yards.
113 yards and 2 touchdowns.
What they say, he's been on 5 teams in 7 seasons, I believe, something like that.
5, 6, 7. Like, he's been on a bunch.
When you've been like that, you have to go hard when you get the opportunity.
Yeah,
you've learned. Like, okay, I'm sure in his mind, he's like, if I don't ball out, I'm gonna get cut.
He averaged over 5.5 yards a carry.
He lives a different lifestyle than other running backs. He's on the bubble every day. Like. Yeah. He's not Adrian Peterson or he's not a Maurice Jones-Drew.
Well, I think that's one of the main reasons that this team, the Giants, really beat the Panthers. Just the fact that they could run at will. Mm-hmm. And that defensive front. I'm not a fan of Carolina, okay? I understand everybody has this love with Cam Newton. I love Cam Newton, too. I think he's a prodigy, all right? But I just don't think
he needs help. He needs help.
I like 5 players on Carolina. I like Cam.
I don't even know if I can do that.
I like Cam. I like Steve Smith.
Steve Smith's too old for me.
And I like their 3 starting linebackers.
Yeah.
Luke, John Beeson, and Thomas Davis.
Me, I just like Cam. I like D'Angelo Williams. I think he's still a capable runner. I like Mike Tolbert.
Okay.
And I also like Jonathan Stewart. I like their running backs.
I like their running backs 2 years ago. They've been extremely injury prone. Yeah. So for me, that's a turn off automatically when it comes to running backs because it's common, and you can't rely on that. I'm used to workhorse.
Well, there's a certain stat that they brought up on the broadcast on NFL Network about D'Angelo Williams. Mm-hmm. He has had injury problems. You're absolutely right. He's had a bunch.
Both of them have. Jonathan Stewart has too.
But the thing about D'Angelo Williams was they were saying that his rushing yards per attempt were about 5.
He's serious.
He's very good, but it's just the fact that he's always hurt. Yeah. It really is.
He averaged 4.5 last night, even though he only had 11 carries. He had 50 yards. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the numbers don't lie. Yeah. If you give him the rock. He's going to, and he was the same in Memphis. You remember how much I liked him at Memphis.
Absolutely.
Also, I wanted to do a shout out to Ramses Barton, who caught 9 passes for 138 yards in his first NFL start.
The rich keep getting richer.
Yep. Yes.
The rich keep getting richer.
And I told our Giant fan at our place of employment,
absolutely,
during that draft that when they were losing Plexico, the Giant fan, and I was telling him how they were losing Plexico Burris. I said, just draft Ramses Barton. Yeah. You'll be fine.
You called it in advance.
I called it 2 years ago.
He's had one of the, I can say, easiest transitions because he's been behind the King Knicks and Mario Manningham.
Steve Smith.
Stable.
Yeah. I mean, but he has these guys who he can look at, and he's learned. Obviously, he's learned because he.
But why is their receiving core always so good? Is it Eli? Is it the offense?
Is it Tom Coughlin?
Is it Tom Coughlin?
Is it Floyd Reese?
Is it Floyd Reese?
They were GM.
Because they that's one position they're never weak in.
Oh,
Never.
They can have 3 guys go down with injuries, and the next 3 up will get 300 yards.
Well, I mean, to have Hakeem Nicks out, okay, I felt that with Mario Manningham leaving, he went to the 49ers this year. Him leaving that team, he was the big playmaker in the Super Bowl, Mario Manningham.
Do you remember how much I was into Hakeem Nicks his last year in North Carolina? He'll tell you. I was nuts about him. I was like, I wanted the Jets to get him in the worst freaking way. And who gets him? The Giants.
Your rivals.
Okay? The Giants.
But it's just that I've never seen a team that can, like, they go down with so many injuries, even with the secondary. All right?
They're secondary every year.
I mean, but it's just they've had these injuries. I mean, but they still got 3 picks. All right, this is a third string secondary, and they're making plays on.
I would even go step further as a 4th string because J-Ron Hosley was like their 4th cornerback, and he got hurt.
And all these experts, and I have another thing. I have something I really need to get off my chest.
Get it off there.
All these experts who picked the Carolina Panthers to beat the New York Giants are now scrambling to backtrack their remarks.
I'll take you a step further.
It's so foolish.
All these experts that picked the Carolina Panthers to win the South blow me.
To win the South, if you picked Carolina to take the South, okay, you're out of your mind.
Lou, you're not hearing me
when you're in the same division as the Falcons.
Well, you had people actually saying that the NFC South may be the toughest division in the NFL. They are fools.
Yeah.
No.
The way the Saints are playing?
That's not.
That was all preseason hype.
No.
That was all preseason
That's hype. That's hype in order
because
to try to get people
That's
interested.
worse than people saying the Raiders are going to the playoffs.
Oh, no.
Not unless John gets back on the
Oh,
side.
no.
John was the only one with success with the Raiders. Madden came in, won the Super Bowl, and got the fuck out.
Oh, and another dude I wanted to shout out for the Giants also was it Marcellus Bennett?
Yeah.
Martellus Bennett.
Martellus Bennett.
Yeah, he played well.
6 catches, 73 yards, 12.2 yard average, and a touchdown. This dude is doing it every single game. Eli loves to throw the ball to him in the red zone.
When he was with the Cowboys, he had an issue because Jason Witten was
there. Yeah.
Witten was there, and they weren't going to take away Witten. He has been one of the most consistent tight ends this season. He's up there with the Jimmy.
Think about how many tight ends they gotten rid of, and it was the Giants. They had Shockey, got rid of him.
Martellus Bennett, though, I think
they had Kevin Boss,
it's the best by
got rid of him
because he's athletic.
He's better than Boston and Shockey.
I think
Oh yes.
I think.
Athletically.
I'm just asking. I'm not.
Athletically, he's through the roof compared to them.
Because I thought both of those were good tight ends.
Oh yeah, they were excellent tight ends.
Well,
because they think about Shockey in his prime.
I look at Kevin Boss now. He's on the Chiefs right now.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are a piece of shit. All right. I see Matt Castle target him. You know, and he gets the ball. He's a big bruiser, but he doesn't have the speed.
No, he doesn't have the speed.
Martellus Bennett is a red zone threat. You know what I'm saying? Like you just throw it up to him, he'll run by the guy. He can make a juke move and he can bowl him over.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Oh yeah, and I just picked up Martellus Bennett on my fantasy team.
You say shout out to the fantasy world.
Shout out to the fantasy world. You know what I'm saying? You need to pick up Martellus Bennett, and if you didn't pick up Andre Brown, you were fooled. 25 points on NFL Network Fantasy.
I was talking to your dad about this the other day, man. I don't know why. I had a bad experience with NFL fantasy. It doesn't attract me. Like to me, NFL fantasy and NBA fantasy are
it's totally
leaps and
different.
bounds.
It's totally different.
I enjoy NBA fantasy so much. NFL is kind of like.
See, because NBA fantasy and NFL fantasy is a big difference. NBA fantasy is an everyday affair, where you're in there every day.
Every day.
NFL fantasy is in there. You're in there maybe that Thursday or that Friday right before the game, and you're just trying to make sure you're getting people who are going to play.
We're going to play, right? And that's the thing, too, the points, I think.
Yeah.
It's harder to get points at the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
NBA, man, please. Even on a bad day, I'm still scoring.
Yeah, it's still
Even on a bad day. And Lou will tell you, I had a rough season. Let's
not get into the NBA fantasy.
Yeah, we will get into.
Just say I look forward to the comeback.
We'll have a fantasy show for sure.
When November comes around, man, and NBA starts back up.
Oh yeah.
I look forward to a bounce back year. I started out strong, and I pretty much turned into San Diego Chargers.
You got me over here. I was basically the Heat the whole season, winning the championship.
Were you?
Yes.
Barely.
Whose league were you in?
No, I was the commissioner.
He was the commissioner of the league you were in.
I thought Louis was the commissioner.
No, he was the commissioner.
That sure was. I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought it was your brother. I don't know why.
Yeah, Louis doesn't run any
Man, Louis don't run shit.
fantasy games.
We're digress. Yeah, check us out for the fantasy league. We're very serious. We're very serious.
All right.
Man,
so you're finished with the Giants, so we can get to the Jets.
Oh, do you want to get to the Jets?
It's. I always want to get to the Jets. I'm ready to turn over this piece of paper,
Well, one more.
so I don't have to read about the Giants no goddamn more.
One more thing I want to say about this Giants.
All right, get out of your system.
One more thing. All these people, all these Cam Newton fans, please. I need y'all Cam Newton fans to please reevaluate the situation. All right? You have people saying that, oh, he broke records, he's the greatest, whatever. No doubt. You know, I think he's a great athlete. I think he's a great player, and I think he will be a great player. But we need to hold these expectations of individual players and their teams.
To that, I quote Mike Ditka. Stop it. Stop it, damn it. That's my addition to it. That's my addendum to it. Stop it, damn it. Let it play out. Enjoy his career. It's going to be wonderful. Yeah. Hopefully it'll last 20 years. Yeah. And you'll get to watch him for a long time. But stop it.
People are expecting him for them to be a championship caliber team in a year or two just because they have Cam Newton.
You got to follow the process, man. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It's a process. And what's the hugest difference between Cam's rookie season and the sophomore season? They have tape on him now.
Yes.
Cam was a rookie, just like RG3.
They have their whole
They have to learn how to prepare for it.
They have to learn how to prepare.
You got a whole year of tape now, so guess what? He's gonna have to step up. And I like Cam a lot. I like him a lot, but he's gonna have to go through the process like everybody else.
Do you think sophomore slump is in? You think that this is the beginning of the sophomore slump?
I think yes, because of the fact that it's on his mind, and you can tell when he plays. Yeah. He's trying too hard, just like Matt Stafford.
Yeah, he needs help.
He's trying too
just
hard.
That simple.
But
he needs help.
As a quarterback, it's a certain level of resolve, certain level of calm.
But I like what Stephen A. Smith said today about him and the press conference afterwards, where he said, he was disgusted. He was embarrassed. And he said that if he were a Panthers fan, he'd be embarrassed. He'd be ashamed. And that's how you want your quarterback to be. You want him to hate losing.
He's not comfortable losing at all.
Oh, man.
At all.
He's been through everywhere he's been a winner through high school.
Everywhere.
Through JUCO, through college.
He's not willing to settle for it. And that's the key part with him.
He was in Florida with Tebow.
Now, Skip Bayless had a problem with him doing the Superman move when he scored and it was 23-7.
Listen,
he's inspiring confidence for his team.
Okay,
this league
let's say that.
The problem with over celebrating when they don't need to celebrate.
Let's celebrate.
It's a fine line.
Yes,
it's a fine line.
You need to know when. There's a time and a place.
For your team.
There's a time and a place.
But should you start trying to hype up your team with 4 minutes left and you just scored a touchdown and it's 34-2?
It's football. Play the game. Play the game.
Play the game.
Play the game like you have the possibility to win. That's how I was always taught. Play the game. You could be getting beat 50-6. Play the game. Because I've had teams do that we've blown out and they score a touchdown and they party.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do, man.
Do what you gotta do.
But we know what the scoreboard says.
Right.
And that's all that matters to me, what the scoreboard says.
So let's talk about these Jets.
Let's talk about these Jets. All right? Because I had a problem with this game.
What's the problem with the game?
Steelers at the Jets. Jets at the Steelers. Okay? Third down. Absolutely killed us. Offensively and defensively.
Let's start from the beginning. Yeah, the Jets at the Steelers.
Yep.
Steelers were at home. You have in my opinion, one of the most hypest crowds in the NFL. Maybe second only to maybe the Seattle's.
Over Heinz Field.
It was a 27-10 Steelers win, by the way.
The Steelers came out sharp. They didn't come out extremely sharp, but first drive they got a scoring drive.
Right.
I don't like that from a fan's perspective. When you're supposed to have one of the best defenses in the league, that should be something you practice.
So what was the issue with the defense?
The issue with the defense was, like you said, third down conversion.
They didn't get off the field.
Okay. They on the field extremely long.
Steelers owned the rock for 36 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't get off the fucking field. And subsequently, the offense did not convert third downs. They converted 4 of 12 third down conversions.
And I know Revis didn't play. I know Dustin Keller didn't play.
But see, that was a big
and
issue.
Curley. I'm sorry, Dustin Keller didn't play.
The big issue with me was when you don't have Revis in, it takes away a big part of the Jets
Absolutely.
playbook because
it changes the game plan.
Oh, definitely, because Revis can single-handedly take away a star player, a Mike Wallace or an Antonio
He takes
Brown.
away half of the field.
Yeah.
And
I like Cromartie, but he's not half as good as Reed.
Oh, fuck no.
I like him, but he's not half as good.
I mean, I didn't think the cornerbacks played a terrible game. I thought
He's more fertile, though.
Oh, yeah.
Lord.
Sorry.
He wins in that
I
department.
digress.
But Antonio Cromartie has an issue.
How many kids does he have now?
We're working on 17, I think.
Okay, go ahead, man.
17?
Go ahead,
Anyway.
More like 12.
ahead.
More like 12, I'm sorry.
Antonio Cromartie.
Like 6 states, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. Entertainment. Video.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, baby. If you want a kid, call Cromartie.
Oh, man. Cromartie has a problem with keeping his dick in his pants. But he also has a problem with keeping an eye on the ball, all right? The thing I saw plenty of times with the Jets was they just couldn't bring down Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Big Ben.
Big Ben was in the pocket.
He's
he
a
was,
big guy.
He was getting
He's a
pressured,
big guy.
but they couldn't bring him down.
But
He's a big guy.
he knows how to slide in the pocket, and he knows how to find that open little space.
Ben
he
is one
just,
of the best.
He just needs a few inches.
He's very underrated.
He willed that team.
He's
together.
very underrated when it comes to moving around in that pocket. He's very underrated.
Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer right now to me. Is a Hall of Famer right now to me. He has 2 fucking Super Bowls, and he plays like that.
Is he probably the most underrated quarterback?
Oh, without a doubt. In the NFL right now,
Yeah.
he ain't giving no fucking credit for what he does.
Who else? Who's more underrated than Ben Roethlisberger?
I really can't think of anybody, you know? I mean, not with the love that Eli Manning. The only person maybe was Eli Manning, but now he's getting the
Yeah,
recognition.
Eli.
Yeah.
After that statement last season and then the Super Bowl, that's out the window.
That second Super Bowl
Ben
did.
Roethlisberger is one of those few quarterbacks who can will his team to win.
Absolutely.
And in this
I like
game,
Ben.
In this game, he really willed them.
And you know really what it is. Ben got in all that fucking trouble. He got caught touching that girl in the bar out here in Georgia. Ever since then, seriously, ever since then, Ben has been quiet.
You touch them girls
And
in
rightfully
Georgia.
so.
That's Mike Tomlin, though.
Rightfully
That's
so.
Mike Tomlin in the
But
Jets.
I feel like that changed his whole persona because he stopped getting in trouble and he's cleaned his image up. So now it gives people a chance to forget about the past and
See,
like
he should have tried to change his number, kind of like what Kobe did, you know?
Yeah.
It was a number 8 Kobe.
But I don't think it matters because right now his game is showing.
Yeah.
His game is showing.
Well,
Now we digress.
enough about this.
Back to the Jets.
The Jets actually came out strong.
Okay.
One drive, they scored. Their
Yeah, I
first drive,
caught, I
they
caught
scored.
that game in the second half.
The
I
first,
didn't see
the
it
first drive they scored, Santonio Holmes hit him with a slant, you know. Great first drive. It looked like they brought over what happened with Buffalo.
He just carried over what happened in Buffalo. Then he got hit. Sanchez got hit really hard, man. He got a helmet-to-helmet hit. And the guy, I think, got fined $21K for it.
It was Lawrence Timmons.
Lawrence
Yeah,
Simmons.
sure was. Yep.
And from then on, Sanchez went, I believe, 6 of 22 for the rest of the game. He was not a factor. And to me, it was like he was out on his feet. That's what it's telling me.
6 for 20.
He's a tough
6 for
guy.
28, and it wasn't fucking Tebow time.
He's a tough. Well, that's
Okay,
the other problem that we have.
upset.
This is the other
I
part.
am very upset.
This is the other side of it.
We are hearing all this shit about Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow had one run for 22 yards. That's the only fucking play that they show. They don't show the other plays.
I love
where he
it.
came in and did jack
It's
shit.
like pulling the scab off.
It's just like, you seriously, people.
It was garbage time when he did that 22 yards.
Okay, it was the third quarter. The game was 27-7. It was over.
27-7.
The game was over.
In my eyes, the Jets haven't even installed Tebow yet.
I told this to my father. I feel that the Jets are doing a terrible job in utilizing what Tebow does best, and that's his power running.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Because I expected at this point for him to have more plays in the package at least.
Oh, Vinny was bringing up fantastic. He brought up a fantastic play where he was saying,
My package.
I put. Go ahead, Vinny.
My package is
Go ahead.
Put Sanchez
Okay.
and Tebow together in the backfield.
Ooh.
What
Where
do
you
wanna
going?
do?
Where you gonna do? Where you going?
I'll take you a step further.
Oh, okay.
Run, and I'm not even a Jets fan, but you guys got me excited. Run split back.
Oh man.
Tebow, Sean Green,
And Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez.
And Sanchez.
What are you gonna do?
Where are you gonna do?
You can direct snap it to Tebow.
What are you gonna
You can
do?
direct snap it to Green. You
Either
can
way,
pass.
and then you
can
have an
pass.
automatic fullback on either side.
Right.
Look, listen. The first week they
Yeah.
did a flea flicker play.
Uh-huh.
Flea flicker play worked marvelously. Only because you had that factor in Tebow where you don't know what the fuck
You don't know what the hell he's gonna
You
do.
don't know what the fuck.
And that's what the Jets have as their advantage, and they're not using it. I feel like.
But
Yeah.
I feel like they're playing right into the media's hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
they're basically they're hearing everybody talk about Tebow, so they're like, we're not going to give you any Tebow. You know, it's like.
Well, I think on to Mark Sanchez's credit, the Jets really believe in Mark Sanchez, and I really believe they're trying to give him his shot. They're trying to allow him to lose the job.
I have seen Mark Sanchez for his fourth year.
Fourth year.
Yeah, fourth year. I have seen him for 3 full seasons. You know, I saw him when he was drafted. Mm-hmm. I can say this as a definite at this point. You know, because I think at this point we know what type of quarterback he is. Just like we know what type of quarterback Matthew Stafford is. Mm-hmm. Mark Sanchez is not a Pro Bowl quarterback. Mm-hmm. He's not an elite quarterback. He needs help.
He's a solid starting quarterback.
He's a solid starting
I put him a level above Alex Smith. And frankly, Alex Smith is looking extremely good right now.
But that's all
because he doesn't make mistakes.
That's all Harbaugh.
And Harbaugh is coaching him up. He needed a coach to coach him up.
It also helps when your running game is
solid.
It's solid.
And your defense is monster.
But look at what they did. What was it last year? The year before? They had 2 first-round picks. What did they pick? Offensive linemen. They picked offensive linemen. They got the whole left side of the line straightened out. Yep. And now all of a sudden, they're running the ball.
And now they're just stocking the cupboard. They got access receivers. They got 4 starting running backs.
Well, I look at the 49ers as what the Jets should be because the 49ers have done exactly what the Jets said they would do.
Right.
The 49ers have a ground and pound system. Mm-hmm. They have the best defense. And they have a quarterback who may not be elite, but
he doesn't make mistakes.
He doesn't make mistakes.
He's looking better and better. He's looking better. Like I said, I don't know what Harbaugh's pouring in his cup.
Well, they're using him at doing what he does best.
Doing what he does better.
And on top of that, people fail to remember how athletic Alex Smith is. And when there's nothing out there, tuck that ball in and run it down the field for 35 yards.
But you know as well as I do, once we leave college, everybody forgets.
They forget how good he is.
Set.
What his skill set is.
Forget about your
that boy can run like a motherfucker, man.
Man, but let's wait, man. We're getting away from the Jets. I still got shit to talk about.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Sorry, you're right.
You're right. You're right.
You're right.
I'm still highly upset.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead,
brother. We're upset. Mark Sanchez, 10 of 27, 138 yards, 1 touchdown.
Ooh, 10 of 27, 128?
38. Give us 10
Most
yards.
Most of those yards came in the first drive.
And 6 of 17 after halftime. As I said, the Steelers possessed the rock for 36 minutes and 36 seconds as opposed to the Jets having it for 23 minutes and 24 seconds. Okay, Sanchez couldn't find anybody fucking open.
Listen, the Steelers did the one thing that I don't think that any of the Jets receivers could handle. They got press coverage.
Stephen Hill was manhandled by Ike Taylor.
Antonio.
Ike Taylor manhandled him.
He gave him his stripes.
He slapped him. He slapped the shit out of him.
Well, Ike Taylor was in front.
He slapped him?
He slapped him. He smacked him all over the field.
I ain't heard nobody smack me, Doc.
I mean, he had 2 targets. He had 1 play where he was open, and he was, he could have caught the ball. He dropped it.
He didn't drop it. He didn't catch it. You got to catch it.
You got to expect him to get his stripes.
But he only had 2 targets. Okay. And that's the problem I had with the gameplay.
That he's getting, either he's been totally covered, or the fact that there was nobody else who could make a play.
What about Curley?
That was another guy who didn't make a big splash. He made 1 splash in the first quarter where he got a nice little seam route up the middle. But
Curley's big moment was the fumble that he did on a punt in the third quarter. That was his big moment.
And that's becoming a problem with him. He's becoming Mr. Fumbleitis.
Right. How did the offensive line hold up?
The offensive line had a solid game.
I thought they did better than
we had a big problem with the game calling. Okay, with how the game was called. No, as far as Sperano was concerned.
Oh, okay.
The play calls were iffy. Like I said, 2 targets for Stephen Hill at 6'4", 200 pounds. 4'3" and jumps a 39-inch vertical. I'm gonna throw the ball down there to him. He's gonna get at least 5 tries every single game. I don't give a fuck if he's checked or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Secondly, the loss of Dustin Keller killed us. Yeah. It absolutely murdered us because
there was a play in I think the second quarter when it was a 3rd down play. Steelers came out in all-out blitz. Sanchez, seeing the blitz, shot it to his tight end who was going up the middle for the seam route.
Jeff Cumberland
wasn't even looking.
He wasn't even looking back.
So that just shows you the effect that Dustin Keller was in there. He probably could have made that play.
It would have been a touchdown.
Right.
It would have been a touchdown.
I like Keller. All
right. They had Bilal Powell. He showed flashes, but again, they went away from him. Sean Green got dinged up,
So you
and
keep
so
saying they're going away from it.
the running game
What was the offense?
was not.
That's the whole thing. I feel that the Jets don't truly know what their identity is on offense. Remember, it's a new offense. You're still trying to work the kinks.
Because I'm listening to y'all keep saying they went away from everybody. I'm like, who
Yeah.
got the ball?
Who got the ball? Good question.
I compare it to what the Jets are doing right now to what the Patriots were doing in their game last week. Where the Patriots, they wanted to go to Gronkowski, they wanted to go to Edelman, they wanted to go to Brandon Lloyd, they wanted to give it to Ridley. You know, they're trying to give it to everybody.
Trying to spread it around.
You know, but you need to have an identity. You know, and that's how the best teams are the best teams.
And they lost Hernandez. Patriots lost Hernandez.
So,
Yeah, that's ugly.
But yeah,
So I mean, and on defense, the Jets looked flashes. You get flashes. Quentin Coples. Shout out to Quentin Coples. You were absent last week. Where were you?
hey, my shout out.
Did you show up to the game?
My shout out goes out to Mr. Garrett McIntyre, number 50 on the Jets, white boy. He came in and he played the best game out of anybody.
He looked like Brian Urlacher.
What?
He looked like Brian
He's
Urlacher.
motivated out there?
I mean, he played the single best game out of any player on
Knock
the
the
Jets.
dick off real quick.
Like, he played better than David Harris, Bart Scott, Antonio Cromartie, Muhammad Wilkerson, name anybody.
He had a good amount of tackles.
He had a great amount of tackles. He had some nice sacks.
And he had sacks. He got like 2 sacks.
Like, he had a great game.
He had an excellent game.
And that disappoints me because I feel that as a Jets defense,
Yes.
you should have every player.
Hey man, I haven't heard anything about Muhammad Wilkerson.
Muhammad Wilkerson
say this.
is solid right now.
But
He's
listen,
solid.
You don't hear nothing about Haloti Nada. That doesn't mean he's not the best defensive
No,
lineman.
I hear a lot about Haloti now.
Right.
I hear his name regularly.
I mean,
I
right
hear
now,
when he takes
right now, Wilkerson is a factor in the run game.
Okay.
He's not a factor in the pass rush,
Remember, it's a
and that's where McIntyre came in. Where all of a sudden, this kid was in the backfield constantly.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't bringing down people, he was pressuring the quarterback.
all the names that the Jets have that we want to be pass rushers, the Quentin Coples, the Aaron Mabins, the Calvin Paces, they were upstaged by this McIntyre guy, and I think that just shows what the Jets defense was like on that day. I don't think they came with the goddamn pads on.
And Antonio Cromartie, brother, okay, you gave crazy cushion this week, all right? And who was it that caught the touchdown over him?
Wallace.
Mike Wallace. Just snatched that shit over
Snatched it
him.
from him.
Well,
Snatched.
it wasn't a catch over him. It was more like Antonio Cromartie lost where the ball wasn't
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
Wallace just caught it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think Cromartie plays better knowing that Reeves is on the other side. I honestly, because I've watched him play by himself and I watched him play with Reeves, and he has a little bit more confidence.
So you're saying he's Scottie Pippen?
No. Oh, what?
You got one more time to disrespect one of my players. Scottie Pippen was a legend in his own right. Scottie Pippen, let me tell you something. If Scottie Pippen wasn't there, Michael Jordan would have won half the game.
Let's not get to the NBA.
I get Baker fired up.
He tried to cover Scottie. The greatest defensive player ever. He tried to come in his throat. Fuck Gary Payton. It's all about Scottie Pippen. Fuck the glove. I'm sorry. We digress. So we're going to keep going.
Speaking of great defensive players, Darrelle Revis is invaluable to the New York Jets.
Yeah.
If you do not open up the checkbook, Mr. Woody Johnson, to Darrelle Revis, I know exactly what the fuck our future is, which is nowhere.
It is baffling that the best defensive player, if not the best, arguably the best defensive player
Ever!
on a team.
Ever!
Okay, I won't go ever.
Cornerback, ever!
I'll say in this era, one
Cornerback,
of the best defensive
ever!
players in this era.
I've seen them from Mel Blount. I've seen Dion. I've seen all of them. Darrelle Revis beats all of them. Maybe Herb Adderley. Herb Adderley was very, very
give him
good.
top
I don't
10.
know who you're talking about.
I give him
No,
top
you
10.
don't. No, you don't.
Educate him. Who's Herb Adderley?
Herb Adderley was Green Bay's all-purpose cornerback. He was a monster. This was during the championship years of the '60s. He intercepted the ball. He returned punts, I believe. I'm not sure he was a kickoff returner, but I mean he was a playmaker. He was an absolute playmaker, and he was involved in all parts of the defense, which was going after running backs. Sorry, Dion. I'm still waiting for you to tackle a fucking running back.
Well, if you gonna go back like that, what about my nigga Lim Barney? If we gonna start calling out, start calling out names.
I'm not even going to Lombardi, man. Let's go to Night Train Lane.
Okay,
Let's go to Night Train. All right.
If you want to start dusting up.
What was it? 11, 12 interception in his rookie year?
Yeah.
Hey man, I got into the NFL in '96. Man.
Ah!
Catch up, dude.
But we digress. All right.
We gotta stay on
But
task.
like I said, it's still baffling that the Jets have not signed him to
A long-term deal.
a long-term deal.
Make him a Jet for life, Woody. Make him a Jet for life.
If you don't, I'm gonna tell you where he's going right now. He's gonna go to the one team that every high-profile free agent goes to and gets paid and does nothing. The Washington Redskins.
You know what I bet he'll go to?
He's gonna be a Redskin.
And I might blow
He's
your
gonna get
minds.
$100 million.
I might blow your minds if I tell you this.
Let's hear it.
Because they never signed big-time free agent.
Let's hear it.
He go back home. He go to Pittsburgh.
Oh my God, that would be a match made in heaven.
He goes back home to Pittsburgh.
That's where he's
man.
from?
It's on.
Please,
That's where he's
please
from.
not talk about my favorite Jet.
We just say don't do it.
Don't do it.
All right, we gotta move on because we've been talking about the Jets for like 15 minutes.
That's not enough time.
Oh man, come on. We had another big
Lou just
game.
got put off the show, ladies and gentlemen.
We had another big game though in the southern tradition of Atlanta. We have to talk about them Dirty Birds.
My Falcons, we played a solid game. We let down a little bit in the second half. The Falcons beat the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning 27-21. We were extremely dominant in the first half. I think that our strengths was our defense confused Peyton Manning.
See, I don't think that it was the Falcons defense who did well. I just think it was Peyton Manning fucking up. I think that Peyton Manning played.
So the defense doesn't get any credit?
I mean, they do get credit. They caught their receptions. Definitely. They definitely get the credit. I mean, the stats show it. But Peyton Manning did a terrible job throwing the ball that first half, and you can tell that something clicked as we went into.
Well, I think he figured out the defense.
Yeah.
He figured out the chinks in the armor.
But the fact that you make so many mistakes. I mean, there were some passes that were just like there was nobody there. There was nobody there.
Absolutely. But I think, again, with quarterbacks and receivers, quarterbacks expect their receivers to be somewhere.
Yeah.
So it could have been Peyton or it could have been his receivers. And like I said, I love our defense. I love that nickel psycho defense to where you got linemen standing up.
It didn't look like Brent Grimes not being there hurt it up.
What did I tell you about Witherspoon, man? What did I tell you about Sean Witherspoon? Sean
You haven't told me
Witherspoon.
anything I don't know.
Sean
you guys
Witherspoon.
were ripping my ass last week.
Sean Witherspoon.
I never.
Y'all were ripping me.
I never ripped.
I had a
Who was
little bit of
ripping you?
confidence in my Falcons defense. You guys, it's over. Brent Grimes is gone. It's over. You guys are done. I'm like, okay. I understand.
Hey, do we need a tampon?
Oh.
Shots fired.
You Jets fans.
Shots fired.
Fucking New Yorkers. Come to Detroit and meet me in the alley. And
I don't want to get shot.
Let's just do it old school.
I want to live.
Because y'all talk too much shit for me not to put no hands on nobody. Y'all talk too much shit for me not to put no hands
But
on
listen,
somebody.
man,
I'm from the crib,
I
Dad.
show love to the Falcons. I always have.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
You always have?
Yes.
Because I can play you the show from last week.
I always do.
I can play you the show from last week.
I always think that their offense has been one of the greatest in the NFL.
So what are you saying about the defense?
I'm saying their defense is mediocre.
Mediocre?
Mediocre.
Okay.
It's in the
Our
middle.
defense was mediocre. I'll give you that.
It's in the middle.
Our
of the
defense
water.
was mediocre.
So are you saying that the Falcons have a top 10 defense? If they
I
don't,
said the Falcons have a top 15 defense.
that's mediocre. Top 15? What? You're not 10. You're not top 10. So you're in the middle.
How many teams in the NFL?
32.
32.
So
You're in the middle. Top 15? What? They're 15?
Well, their contention is that they have an elite offense. So their elite offense is going to keep their, so-so defense. I mean, their defense isn't great.
and I tell
There
you-
are great players on their defense, but they're not a great defense.
There's like 3 great players.
Yeah. They have great players on
I'll
their
put it to
defense.
you like this: our collection of mediocre players is playing better than y'all fucking defense.
First of all,
Take that.
Let's stop.
No, I'm not stopping nothing.
we
I'm not
digress.
stopping the damn
We
thing.
digress.
If you bring the Falcons out right now and bring the Jets out right now, it's gonna be a repeat of the Pittsburgh and the Jets game.
Wow.
And I'll put my nuts on that.
Wow.
Let's do it. So, anyways, before I was rudely interrupted by these Jets fans that I let do their shit, my Falcons played a good game. They came out a little flat in the
They
second
played
half.
a great offensive game.
They came out real flat in the second half. Peyton was Peyton. He figured out the defense. He mounted a comeback, but I think by the time he started to come back, it was too late.
You didn't have a little anxiety there in the third
didn't.
quarter?
If it would have been another 4 or 5 minutes, I may have.
Yeah.
I thought that what the Falcons did best was when Peyton Manning did do that drive where it was 27-21, and it looked like if he got back on the field, he was going to score again.
Yeah.
And right before the 2-minute warning, the Falcons had the ball, and they were just trying to run down the clock. You know? I think the Broncos they did a great job managing the clock, but the Falcons showed up in the end saying, "Oh, our offense is better than your defense," and they were better than the Broncos defense that day. You know?
It was a good game. I mean, I think for my Falcons, we still, like you said, we still got a lot to work on. We still have a lot to build on. We're nowhere near a perfect team.
Y'all got another issue too, man. Y'all like to party too much, apparently.
Here we go.
Falcons,
Michael Turner was
He had a little drink.
arrested.
He had a little drink.
Was arrested at about 5
Going down
a.m.
I-85.
Inglewood County.
I-85 and
Right down the street. You could have stayed at the crib, Mike.
We can see where he was pulled over. It was over on Steve Reynolds Boulevard on I-85. Okay, why? I mean, why would you do that? I mean, he must have been drinking in the locker room after the game.
97 miles an hour and a 65.
Now that makes me wonder, what do they do after these games?
What do you think?
I mean,
There's two options.
There's two options.
Liquor and hard drugs.
Three. Liquor, hard drugs, and women.
And vagina.
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 But how do you think this will affect the Falcons in next week's matchup?
It won't.
At all?
Nope. He might get a fine.
Yeah, he'll get a fine and they'll move
He'll
on.
get slapped on the wrist.
Yeah.
Because this is his first offense.
Yeah, he's not
a troublemaker.
Yeah, he's not a guy who
So
gets into a lot of trouble.
I think if he has any more offenses, it'll hurt. But at the same time, for me, I'm not really worried because our backup running backs are competent. I think our backup running backs.
Jaquiz Rogers and
Absolutely.
Jason Snelling can handle the ball.
Well, Jaquiz. Jason Snelling is more of kind of a fill-in. He's like a Chris Redmond. Like, you know, he'll do it for a little while. But I'm more dependent.
Well, I think Jason Snelling is one of the guys who can get third down conversion and goal line conversion.
Absolutely.
Mainly because he could be a threat in the backfield as a receiver.
To me, he's like a hybrid running back fullback because he's strong.
And tight end.
Yeah. He can do a lot of things. He's very versatile. So I love that about Snelling. I'll never get rid of him for that reason. But when it comes to being dynamic, I would go with Jaquiz Rogers.
So you weren't disturbed as a Falcons fan by the 14 points the Broncos scored in the fourth quarter, as opposed to the Falcons who did not score in the fourth quarter.
No.
That would have alleviated a whole lot if they didn't even gotten a field goal.
I'm not concerned only because it's week 2. Mm-hmm. We still have a new defense. Mm-hmm. We're still learning. Like I said, I've never claimed the Falcons are perfect or that we're great. We're building, but I think every week our defense should get better.
Well, I think the Falcons still haven't had that test from a very good offense. You know, no doubt that the Broncos have Peyton Manning, but let's be real, that's not an elite offense. That's one of the more mediocre offenses in the league. Peyton Manning's a great quarterback, yes, but Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, Willis McGahee,
they're not household names.
They're not big time playmakers.
I agree, but no. Overall, I was I just hope we continue to build. We didn't have too many big injuries. You know.
I think that this game was really just a prelude to what the Falcons will probably be in the NFC South Division. You have the Buccaneers losing their game. You have the Saints losing their game.
The Saints.
You have the Panthers, like I said.
Well, the Falcons are in charge now. They're 2-0. Tampa Bay's 1-1. Carolina's 1-2, and New Orleans is 0-2.
Owen, you would have never told me.
I knew it.
August
I knew
that
it.
The Saints would be
You lose your offense. You lose your
head.
head coach.
No.
Who is your offensive coordinator?
But hold on. Let's not go off the chain yet because the season's far from over.
No, it's not fun. But I mean, you can't expect them not to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge loss. Sean Payton is a big part of what New Orleans does.
Game plan with the Saints. It's been more of Drew Brees being trash.
Yeah.
Drew Brees has made some terrible decisions.
I think Drew Brees, he got too much on his shoulder.
Where has Marcus Colston been?
He has too much.
Jimmy Graham has been doing very well.
Jimmy Graham been getting too much pussy. I can tell you what that is.
Hey man, he been
getting too much. I've seen more photos of him this offseason with women than anybody.
But listen, he's still playing he's still the best tight end. It's not the best.
Well, you're gonna always be in a good mood when you get what you want.
But that's not equaling to wins, you know. And the Saints,
the
Saints really have a problem with their defense too, man.
I want to get to this slate of games for this week because our time. I know we're covering a lot, but we're.
Hold on! I can't let you slide by with the Lions, man.
No, I was gonna get to that,
okay.
But I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to make us aware.
Okay.
We are at 44 minutes.
Oh,
we gotta cover all the
44.
games for this week.
All right, so let's move on.
Yeah.
49ers Lions, 27-19. The Lions did not show up this week. What happened, Mr.
27-19. Again, I hate to point fingers. Stafford did not look good. Stafford is not playing like he was last season. If anybody, Stafford is taking a step back. And I'm not completely blaming it on him because our secondary is shit. Chris Houston didn't play. Bill Bentley didn't play. They'll be playing this upcoming week. Mm-hmm. We lost Drayton Florence. He's on temporary IR. You know, we got the new IR this season.
Right.
He broke his arm. He's done. And the Lions picked up another Jag. They picked up Jerome Murphy, 2-year cornerback, who was drafted by the Saints Rams. Jerome Murphy.
He was playing in the Arena League last year.
Oh man.
He was on the Rams.
I saw him playing on the Gwinnett Jets.
And just a little sidebar, y'all pray and spend some money on these the Gwinnett football league, the Arena League, because they're about to go down again. They don't have enough money, and they said it's looking like the league will not. They've had one person in the league office for the past 6 months, one employee. So it doesn't look like it's looking like the Gwinnett Force is on the move, to say the least.
You're going to go the way of the Thrashers.
Yeah, the owner said he's trying to sell it. He's looking for somebody to buy it. They don't like Gwinnett. Their contract is up with the Gwinnett Arena, so they're trying to move. And that's just a little sidebar, you know, because I like our local football, but nobody supports it. So we're going to keep moving. But yeah, the Lions, secondary.
Well, they had a very tough matchup with it.
No.
To me, the best team in the
best team in the league, absolutely.
San Francisco.
Right now, at this point, the best team in the league. But we got to be able to win these games. We have to be, in order to be an elite team. You know, with the Lions just having one good season, in order to build, because the Lions are building. They're trying to build a winning tradition.
Right.
In order to do that, you have to win these games. You have to win these big games.
I think they're still a year or two away from making a splash.
I agree, but that's why when y'all always ask me who I picked, the Falcons or the Lions, I always say the Falcons. Because the Lions, I love them. I love the roster, but
they're trash.
They're not trash. See, they're trying to set me up. We're going to keep moving.
We're going to keep it moving, folks.
Keep moving. The same thing for the Nets.
Let's talk about the big matchups this coming week.
The big matchups coming up this week.
The big matchups. We got the first one. The ones that I think are big matchups. Yeah, the 1 o'clock. You have the Buccaneers Cowboys. I think this is a big NFC matchup. Yeah. You have two teams that could possibly make the playoffs. Yep. You have a good defense in the Buccaneers. You have, of course, the drama queens that are the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. They're always on TV.
Cowboys are just so overrated to me.
You think so?
Every year.
They look good on paper, man.
America's team, the Cowboys, Jerry Jones.
You cannot deny how good they look on paper, though. Jason Witten.
They want him. They want the NFL wants them to be good in the worst way.
On paper, the Cowboys and the Eagles should be in the championship game. On paper.
Now, who do you have winning this Buccaneers Cowboys game? You remember, you have
the Cowboys lost last week, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cowboys are at home.
Cowboys at home. The Buccaneers are coming off a tough loss. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Cowboys.
I think the Cowboys we should see the Week 1 version of the Cowboys when they beat the Giants.
But I think it's gonna be close.
I think that the Buccaneers have a very, very difficult time in their secondary.
I think Mark Barron is gonna have like 2 picks.
Mark Barron, I think.
I'm just gonna go ahead and y'all heard me say
this is at.
Yeah,
this is at Dallas.
This is at Dallas.
At Dallas.
That's gonna be interesting for Tampa Bay. They got a lot to show now.
So
they can show out.
Give me a quick score on that game.
I have the Cowboys winning 28-17.
Luke?
I have the Buccaneers upsetting 17-14.
I have the Cowboys 19-14.
That's a good game. All right, well, I got another game for y'all. We all in the mix. We got RG3 in the brain.
RG3 is my boy.
Yeah.
We got him against the Bengals coming up. He's coming up playing the Bengals. RG3 is at home. I think it's the home opener for Washington.
Yep.
So we'll finally get to see how that the red and gold will welcome their boys.
That'll be a W.
You think that'll be a W over the Bengals?
I think that'll be a W. The Bengals have looked piss poor compared to last season. With their big pieces, with AJ Green and with Andy Dalton, they looked growing last season. They looked like they were on the way. Yeah. This season, I haven't seen them. They look out of sync. Yeah. They don't look on the same page. So who's playing running back for the Bengals?
Ben Jarvis Green.
Ben Jarvis, yeah.
Quietly been having a pretty good season.
I just don't know about 16 games.
Well, I feel that the Redskins showed last week they had a game against the Rams. They showed a lot of immaturity. Josh Morgan with an idiotic personal foul at the end of the game to help them lose the game. They could have brought the game to overtime. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to affect them. I think the Redskins are going to lose this game. I think the Bengals, Andy Dalton, quietly having a very good year. Yeah. There is no sophomore slump. for Mr. Andy Dalton because he's already showing out. All right, no doubt he had a bad first out.
They need more pieces.
Oh yeah, they do. But I think the Bengals can win this game. I think they really.
No, I'm not saying they can't win it. I just think Redskins have more horses. The Redskins, their defense specifically. I think the Redskins.
Well,
defense,
their defense is taking a big hit. Brian Arakpo and Adam Carey.
I forgot Brian Arakpo.
All right, for this
I
season.
forgot about Brian Arakpo being on. Yeah. That might change.
That changes the
that
whole
might
entire
change the game a bit. Because Brian Arakpo is
because
huge.
I would have picked the Redskins if it had not been for those two injuries.
And remember, the Bengals are still, despite the rocky start, these guys still were a playoff team last year.
Oh, they still got a good defense.
Andy Dalton is going to be upright. Orakpo is not there. Kerrigan is stuck. Basically, he's got to give them their pass rush.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a huge loss losing Carricker and Orakpo in the same week. I don't think they can make up for it yet.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about that one. Ladies and gentlemen, I could be wrong because Orakpo is huge. Yeah. That is a huge loss. I didn't even think about that. So we're gonna keep it moving. How about the toilet game? Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, I think this is the chance that we get to see what Andrew Luck is really made of. I mean, we get to see Andrew Luck against a piss poor.
But you know what? I think it's the opposite. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think it's the opposite. I think this is a chance for Blaine Gabbert, if anything, in the tank. Yeah. This is your opportunity. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he had a good outing last week. He had a very solid outing. His team isn't as good as you would want them to be. Laurent Robinson is their number one freaking receiver. Right? It's tough.
Why does Jacksonville never have a good receiving coach?
Because their last receiver who they drafted turned out to be a cokehead.
Their last 6 receivers that they drafted.
Did they all turn out to be cokeheads?
I mean,
one of them is in jail
for
the rest of his life.
Jail, yeah.
Ray Caruth.
He'll be in there too. About it, his son is still living and surviving. And he has a cerebral palsy. And shout out to Ray Caruth Jr.
Yeah,
he's living.
Oh, God bless him.
Dad tried to kill him.
God bless him, man.
So yeah, I didn't want to digress too much, but yeah.
But see, that cerebral palsy quote that basically sums up the game.
All right, so we're gonna keep it moving.
So I think Andrew Luck, who had a wonderful game last year, he beat Indianapolis beat Minnesota 23-20. I loved his pocket awareness. I loved watching him.
He looks good.
He knows what he's doing back there.
Good.
Him and RG3, I'm watching them the rest of the season.
This is not a surprise, all right?
Yeah.
Andrew Luck was going to be like this if he came out in the draft with Cam Newton.
No, but he's the real deal. Yeah. I mean, people were talking him up and shit. They ain't talking him up. He's for real.
And then it pays dividends that they drafted those 2 tight ends, Dwayne Allen and his tight end from Stanford, Kobe Fleener. I think those are 2 great security blankets. 2 great security blankets.
I mean, that's true.
And both of them are very, very capable tight ends.
And it also, the fact that he has Reggie Wayne is such an asset.
Don't sleep on the comparisons between Dwayne Allen, Kobe Fleener, and Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski. Because they're right there. They're young. They're rookies.
Dwayne Allen,
they're rookies, but they're right. Trust me,
he's not bad.
They're right there. Yeah. I like the Colts. I mean, they got a long way to go. It really is that defense. Because honestly, if you get them a more formidable running back, and you get them another receiver on the other side of Reggie Wayne before it's all said and done, that offense looks good.
I think that this game's going to be a shit pile of shit.
Yeah, that's why I call it the toilet game.
But I think that if anything, this is a chance for that Jaguars defense to prove what they can do. I think that their secondary is bad, but their front 7 are very solid.
Who's the best player on that defense?
Puz Leslie. Puz Leslie is the best player on that defense. He's their leader. Yeah. And he does a good job at it.
I was surprised Buffalo let him go.
They'll get me started.
Well, bring that up next. The 1-1 Buffalo Bills versus the 0-2 Cleveland Browns.
The Bills got lucky as hell. They in consecutive weeks will play 2 of the worst teams in the NFL, in the Chiefs and now the Browns. Brandon Weeden can actually have a good game. Mm-hmm. Very much, because that Bills secondary has not been very good. Mm-hmm. But C.J. Spiller has broken out as a top-flight running back.
And don't forget, they still got Fred. He's hurt. They still got Fred Jackson.
I mean, but C.J. Spiller, man, he does something that Fred Jackson can't do.
He's very shifty.
He has
extremely
exceptional speed.
And I loved him in college. I loved him at Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
I loved him at Clemson.
So I think the Bills should have no problem with the game.
I actually wanted the Falcons to draft them. That's neither here nor there.
The Browns have
That's neither here nor there.
The Browns actually have a good defense, too. DeQuell Jackson is actually the leader in tackles.
Joe Hayden.
Joe Hayden's another one, and they actually played a very good game against
Phil
the Bengals.
Taylor.
You know, so it'll be interesting, but I think the Bills should edge them out.
Yeah. All right, next up on the slate, the New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins, a division game.
First of all, Ryan Tannehill is going to have a very tough day. Revis is back. Bitch.
Y'all should
Darrell Revis is back.
Y'all should definitely bounce back. Not even because of Revis. Even if Revis didn't play.
Yeah.
I feel like y'all, this is the bounce back game. This is the game where we're like,
Well,
okay.
It's a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, we have to show the rookie.
It's a rookie football team.
Yeah.
Let's stop. The Dolphins, they did well last week. They won their game, despite it being yeah.
I attribute that to the any given Sunday rule. Any given Sunday, anybody can win if you don't come to the game prepared.
The Dolphins came in and they played a terrible Raiders team. The Raiders weren't prepared. The Dolphins came out and they hit them in the mouth. The Jets, however, they have a very easy prospect just for the fact that he's a rookie quarterback, but Reggie Bush is still going to be a big deal. The Jets have had a problem stopping the rush.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see if Reggie Bush can have the same success.
I see the Jets. I see this being a blowout. Honestly, you know.
Man, I'm so low on the Jets right now. I don't see it as a blowout. I see Jets 17.
Well, you know that's how you New Yorkers are. You guys
Jets
get so
17.
high and so low. I see the Jets. I see it being something like 31-7. Jets.
I don't see it that big.
Sanchez.
I can see 28-14 or something like that. But the thing that pisses me off is just, our third down conversions. We have to convert on third down.
Yeah, I'll be better.
I'll
be better this week.
Offensively, and we have to get off the field on third down also, because last week was ridiculous. It impacted the entire game.
Sanchez will throw 3 touchdowns. Tim Tebow will run one this week. I give Tim Tebow one in the field goal. That's how I see it. 3 touchdown passes from Sanchez, 1 to spread it out to all the receivers. 1 to Santonio, 1 to Stephen Hill, 1 to Curl.
Now the big question is, does Tebow get more snaps?
Yep.
Does he?
Yes. Tony Sperano going back to Miami, running his offense against his old team. You don't think he's going to win?
Oh, he's going to be on a high.
Yeah.
Big time.
I think Tebow will see. How many snaps did he have last week?
He didn't have that many snaps.
Like 4 or 5?
He had less than 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think this week he'll get closer to 10.
Well, I contribute to the fact that Tebow didn't get that many snaps was because he just didn't have the ball for a long time. They were always 4 and out. 3 and out. All right, we got another game. I mean, we have the fight of the undefeated birds. The Eagles at the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals.
Reality is about to set in.
You think so?
Yep.
I think this is one of the most underrated defenses in the league.
No, I like that. Their defense is the reason why they're 2-0.
Yeah.
It definitely isn't Skelton. Definitely isn't Cobb.
Listen, when you have a receiver like Larry Fitzgerald, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Hall of Fame receiver.
It doesn't matter. Them Cardinals, though, man. Them Cardinals, they are an underrated team. Yeah. And anybody who looks down on this team after coming off that Patriot win, they made the Patriots look silly.
I don't look down on them. I just look down on their offense, more specifically. I think their defense is fine. I don't see too many holes. Darnell Dockett is still Darnell Dockett. Yeah. I respect their defense, but Philly has a stable of horses that has yet to be unleashed. I still haven't seen Deshaun Jackson.
My whole thing with the Philadelphia Eagles is Michael Vick. It all comes on Michael Vick.
It does.
And he has not shown that he can do it consistently.
But you know what? You're right. I agree. He has not done it consistently. But the second half of last week's game, he looked good. He looked good.
You see that last week, the Ravens-Eagles game last week, it was 24-23. Eagles won, but I don't think that the Eagles necessarily won that game, more that the Baltimore Ravens lost that game. The Ravens started playing sloppy.
I felt like Michael Vick turned up an extra notch in the fourth quarter. He looked more focused.
Oh, that call at the end of the game where he was basically sacked?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's a toughie.
It is a real toughie because that basically, they shut him down. The Ravens basically shut him down. And to allow that, it changed the whole landscape of the game. But I think that I surprisingly think that the Cardinals will win.
What's the score?
They're at Arizona. I think Arizona has home field advantage. I think they'll win. It'll be a very close game. The Eagles have come off 2 straight 1-point games. I think we're going to have another one, 17-16.
Woo! What about you?
I think Eagles are winning.
Okay.
I think the Eagles are going to win. They're going to show you know, they're going to put so much pressure on this quarterback, whoever the quarterback is, Cobb or
It'll be Cobb.
Skelton. You know,
I don't think Skelton is going to be playing.
Yeah.
I think it'll still be Cobb.
So I mean, I think the Eagles are going to come after him.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Eagles. I think this will be the week that the Eagles put it all together because they haven't played a complete game.
Hey man, the Cardinals 2 weeks straight, man. People have said they're gonna lose.
No.
And they've come up big.
The Cardinals have their moments, definitely. Even that year they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't see that, but you know, I can't hate
Who would
them.
have thought that the Cardinals right now